Greetings, Shalom, Ndaa, Avuxeni, Sanibonani, Lotshani, Dumelang. Greetings to everyone, African family in particular, and the human family in general. Always, let me begin by observing all foremost. Allow me to all honor, thanks, and praises to the Creator of the universe, His anointed Benami, His divine kingdom, and all those across the planet striving for truth and righteousness in their own ways. I am talking to you today from in my part of the world, South Africa. Very cold day today, freezing cold, but I just felt it's important that we continue. We continue with our conversation from where we left off. Today I would like us to talk a little bit more, expound a bit more on this idea of Ubuntu, get deeper into it. And obviously this is a concept that has been used, thrown around, and sometimes I feel abused. And I would like us to get a bit deeper into this. And these discussions are in the context of trying to understand our problems. But not only that, but also looking at what the solutions are. As I had indicated in the previous video, Ubuntu Awakening is very much focused on solutions, African-centered solutions, Ubuntu-centered solutions, and what that would look like. Again, I do this recording in a global context that is becoming increasingly interesting by the day. I am observing all the kinds of conversations that are going on in geopolitics, in national politics, in economics. You know, there's a lot, and what they refer to as culture wars. Some of you may be familiar with this. Apparently there are culture wars going on now. Different debates on different issues. As I said, this is our contribution. Ubuntu Awakening. As I had stated also in the previous video, we are still new to this, recording of YouTube videos, and so it's not going to be perfect. But I just felt I shouldn't wait to have a perfect mic or to have a perfect video, camera, and all of those things. We need to say something in the context of everything that's happening. We say something. So please, before I forget, please like this video, subscribe. If you find this content speaks to you, it resonates, please join our community. Let's keep this conversation going. Comment, share your thoughts on what we are sharing here. And again, I highlight that, these ideas that I share with you are based on Hebrew concepts that I had been taught by my teachers, those who taught me, and everything that I had learned. So these are not my own ideas. These are things I was taught, and I'm simply sharing with you this truth that I was exposed to and taught. So today we're just going to talk a little bit about this idea of Ubuntu and look at it holistically. And what are we talking about? You will see here I have some of my icons, the people who have greatly inspired me throughout my journey as I developed. You'll see we have Thomas Sankara there, we have Marcus Mosiah Garvey, we have Ben Ami, and at Ubuntu Awakening we have this concept that we developed, extraordinary servant leadership, that in the context of Ubuntu and in envisioning the kind of leadership that we would need in Africa, but also in the world, we need visionary, extraordinary servant leadership. Because, you see, people are always where they are relative to who is leading them. Because, I mean, if I am leading you and I'm leading you over a cliff, we're all going to fall over the cliff. And so this extraordinary servant, visionary leadership, and vision is so important. Where are we trying to take our people to? And sadly, I feel that is lacking in the African continent today. So let's talk about the Ubuntu vision. What and as a continuation of our previous conversation. And by the way, this won't always be a monologue. In the next video, I would like to invite a brother of mine to come have a conversation with me, so that you don't get tired of my voice, hearing my voice. But so what is this about? Ubuntu vision. The Ubuntu vision, African restoration through relationships. What do we mean by that? See, this idea of relationships is at the core. It's at the core of Ubuntu Awakening. And I must say also that, as a prelude, I think in Africa we are putting the cart before the horse, as they say. We want to talk about political solutions, economic solutions, educational solutions, social solutions, and so on. But you haven't even begun to understand yourself, who you are, where you come from, what your purpose is on this planet. And now you are this confused individual, and you don't even know where you're coming from, where you're going. You are just floating around, and you now find yourself experiencing all these problems. Poverty in Africa, crime, violence, disagreements, debates, and then you look at all the arguments that are happening. Confusion. And as I said, the discourse is all around the world. I've been listening, and I feel some of the arguments or the debates that are happening really just show how low we have fallen as humanity. Some debates are just not necessary. If you really understand truth, some of these things should not even be debates that we are having. But, and all these elements that I've mentioned, politics, economics, education, etc., can only be given proper perspective from a spiritual lens. And again, this word spirituality, again, another word greatly used, spiritualism everywhere. But I want to give this Hebraic understanding of this idea of spirituality, an all-encompassing worldview that is inspired by our Creator, that is inspired by who we are, how we came into existence, and what our purpose is on this planet. So let us begin, so that I don't make this too long. But I felt I should give that as a precursor, that we're not going to solve anything without understanding these things. Spirituality. And what do I mean by that? We're spiritual beings fundamentally. And we have a physical component to us. But what animates this physical body is the spirit. And the spirit is your consciousness. This is where your consciousness sits. And if your spirit is confused, there is nothing you are going to do with this body except hurt yourself. Because you're not in alignment. You're not in alignment with yourself. You're not in alignment with other human beings. You're not, in alignment with the earth itself. So let us begin with truth. Again, I had alluded to this in the previous video. What is truth? A spiritual leader, the one who taught me, and I learned all of these things from him. Truth, he defined, number one, the right knowledge of reality. In other words, the correct interpretation of reality. When you look at everything in your reality, in your existence, you see, it's so important that we always start with defining things, definitions. All works of scholarship and everything always starts with definitions, because definitions form the core of what we are talking about, so that we can understand that, I'm a student of linguistics. I studied linguistics for about 4 years. And even outside of that, I just had an interest in language. And you see, language can be tricky. And that's why deception happens through language. Because, oh man, our people. Anyway, truth. Let's start with the definition of truth. Truth is the right knowledge of reality, the correct interpretation of reality. And so, with that understanding, you would know when you are looking at things, you can see. So, for example, the correct interpretation of reality tells you an orange tree will never give you lemons. It will never give you apples. An orange tree produces oranges. That is the truth. And so we observe things according to their function in reality. It's a crucial element of truth, the correct interpretation of reality. I've been hearing this word used a lot recently, progressive. What does it mean to be progressive? And then you listen to people saying, yeah, we must be progressive. We must promote progressive ideas, progressive thinking. And then you look at what is being promoted, all these degenerative ideas under the banner of being progressive. What are we talking about? Delusions, far removed from truth. You see, one of the things that His Excellency Benami said was that when you betray truth, you are ultimately dominated. You are inevitably dominated by falsehood. And this is where we are. And once you put yourself in this false type of existence, an existence based on falsehood, you keep hurting yourself. And you could even define hurting yourself as being progressive. Another word, love. I mean, what is love? Some people believe love means allowing everyone to do whatever they want. And then everyone goes out and does whatever they want. And then you look at the society and it's chaos. And no one is happy. And you are trying to be happy in this type of false existence. But you see, the universe is governed by laws, principles. It's a push and pull. You go to the field, you plant a lemon seed, you get a lemon tree. You are not going to get an orange tree. You will not get an apple tree. So everything we're experiencing has to be seen as a harvest. So if our society is in chaos, Well, we planted the seeds of chaos, and we tried to convince ourselves that all these ideas we have subscribed to are progressive. Doesn't work. It doesn't work because the universal laws, the laws that govern life, are not interested in how you feel or what you think. But if you are applying deception, lies, you will get the harvest of lies. So South Africans, Africans, humanity, keep planting the seeds of deception, convincing yourself it's progressive ideas, and keep getting exactly what you planted. You will get compensated accordingly. And it's not a matter of debate. We don't debate whether or not planting corn is going to yield corn. We don't debate that. But you see, this can only be in a context where people have some sense. You know what I'm saying? Where people have some sense, there are certain things we don't debate or argue about. Anyway, the correct interpretation of reality, the right knowledge of reality. Truth has the inherent power to produce the promised effects. Truth. There we go. We know. Plant seeds of deception, you get the relative harvest. Plant seeds of truth, get the relative harvest. It's that simple. All the ideas, knowledge, and practices that keep Abantu or Adam in harmony with the processes that regenerate and sustain life. Now, this is important that I make this point. Again, Adam. See, Adam is not, Adam is a Hebrew concept. Adam is not Adam. In the Eurocentric theology says Adam. No, Adam in Hebrew. And you'll see the significance of that because these are Hebrew words that represent Hebrew concepts and Hebrew worldviews. So what is Adam? Adam it's not human. It's not a man. Adam represents a specific species, a particular type of species that in the Hebrew narrative, in the Genesis, it talks about this species being created not from the dust of the earth, from the minerals of the earth. That is how it goes in the Hebrew narrative, the original Hebrew narrative, from the minerals of the earth. So in other words, this is why you find in biology the minerals that are found in the earth you find in the human body. It's where you come from. And that's why a lot of indigenous cultures always associated this idea of, they always had this concept of having a kinship with the earth in some way or form. And a lot of cultures have this narrative of, this species being created. I don't want to use this word human. I don't want to confuse us with this human situation. Adam, the Adamic species, created from the minerals of the earth. So right there, you already have a correlation. And again, that's why even in terms of diet and nutrition, the best form of nutrition for this species are the plants that grow from the earth. And these plants synthesize these minerals. And when you consume them, you regenerate the Adamic body. You see? Now it has a whole different significance to it when you put it in proper perspective. So the earth, that's why it's considered mother in most indigenous cultures. Because that is the source where we came from. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying understanding who you are and where you come from is so crucial because Nothing else is going to make sense in your existence until you understand these things. So I'm just saying, y'all, better be eating those fruits and vegetables. You know, eat those plants, those herbs, because that was the original prescription. Again, in the Genesis, you read the narrative, first diet ever prescribed, consume the plants and specifically that have seeds in them. Just showing that kinship of the Adamic species with the earth. Now look at this. In Hebrew, the earth is Adamah. Do you see that? So Adam comes from Adamah. And now comes in the significance of linguistics. Because when you understand the Hebrew language and its linguistic structure, very much has a lot of root words, and from these root words, other words are formed that relate to that concept. So from the beginning, Adam, Adamah. Let's continue. A quote from His Excellency Ben Ami from a documentary that I watched, which is called The Restoration Village. And I said, I feel that our motivation is our strong point. We are motivated by the love factor. Love. Not the love everyone, be talking about. Because love, in a true sense, love means, for example, I have a daughter, by the way. So I love my daughter. Means I will show her love. I will nurture her, yes. But it doesn't mean I'm going to let her do whatever she wants. Because I know ultimately there are certain things that if she does, they are going to hurt her. No matter how nice they may seem to her, how good they may feel to her. But as a responsible, loving father, I cannot allow her to just do anything, any and everything. No. The love factor. Redefining concept, the power to define. Our love for our people, our love for the planet, our love for the fowl of the heaven, our fish of the sea, our love for the ozone, the air, the river, the lakes. I feel that is our great motivation that causes us to continue on. That has to be the motivation. Love for yourself, love for your neighbor, and love for everything in creation. Because you have a kinship to all of it. Spirituality. That's where it's at. It's not complicated. It's about relationships. From that documentary, The Restoration Village. Listen to what His Excellency Ben Ami says. The fate of an individual or a nation will always be determined by the degree of his or its harmony with the forces and the laws of nature. There you go. Truth. This is again another element of truth. The laws of nature, the laws that govern life. What laws governments pass or policies and all of those things. If it is not in alignment with the laws of nature, you are all in trouble. You are all in trouble. And we can see it, can't we? All over the world. In Africa. South Africa is a mess right now. And I don't even want to begin to unpack the different levels. Politics, economics, education, social relations. Man, don't even get me started on the families. But, you see, everything is determined by the degree of your harmony with the forces and laws of nature. The fullness of life depends upon a harmonious relationship with the natural laws. You must feel your kinship with the earth and once again move to protect it from abuse. See, we keep talking this land thing. Yeah, we want our land. We want our land. For what? So you can abuse the land? So you can abuse the earth? That won't work either. And you confuse yourself. You think, no, it's our land. We can do whatever we want with it. No. Actually, we belong to the earth. Remember the earth, our mother? We belong to the earth. So our approach should not be we want as though we want to possess. No, it won't work. So our approach has to be different. You have to approach it with a different spirit. In other words, you have to come to the earth and say, please, can we do agriculture here? Can we do mining here? And how can we do it? Can we do this activity here? You have to make an appeal. Because the question is it's not whether or not you want the land. The bigger question is, does the land want you? But you see, the only way the land, the earth will want you is if you are Ubuntu, Abantu. If you have an existence based on truth. If truth is your motivation, if you stand on truth, then the earth will want you and will begin to cooperate with you. Make this any longer, but I'm just saying, you must develop a sense of oneness with your environment and realize your dependence upon it. Thereafter, your growing respect for the earth will prevent and check further its destruction. Then you will stop poisoning the bodies of water, the streams, the rivers, the lakes that you depend on. Poison your own drinking water. You drink it, it makes you sick, and then you wonder what's happening. Right? Anyway, let's continue. So, again, going back to this idea of relationships. So I had highlighted in the previous video, I spoke about the subcommittees or the Ubuntu Awakening task forces. We have one for natural environment, environmental sustainability, sustainable development, organic agriculture or agroecology. So everything to do with our relationship to the earth is the focus of this particular committee or task force. And what are we saying? Everything begins with Mother Earth, Adama. You hear a lot of people talking about, hey, the mother principle. Hey, Africa, the mother principle. Do you understand? It begins with the mother, Earth, where you came from. And then an outgrowth of that, as I had explained in the previous video, is health, diet, and nutrition. It's a natural outgrowth. So you correct your relationship with your mother there, the earth, and then you have agriculture or agroecology that is related, that is in harmony with your mother. Agree with your mother. Okay, you have a conversation. How should we do agriculture? And your mother guides you. Oh, okay. This is how indigenous peoples throughout history have done agriculture. It was not based on this hyper-mechanized and highly chemical, and now you kill the value of the soil, and then you can't use it anymore. It's wasteful. It's not regenerative. And remember, truth speaks to all knowledge that is regenerative. So now you kill the productivity of the soil, and you want to find new soil to kill. So you want to kill all the soil. So what happens then when you no longer have soil that can produce agricultural produce? And all of this you will do under the banner of progressive, being progressive. Gotta rethink these things, man. So health, diet, and nutrition. The kind of nutrition we are looking at, largely based on that idea. The earth, our mother, plants, the herbs, the seeds, and everything that grows from the earth, we are to consume because they have the minerals that we need to regenerate our bodies. Everything based on truth. Let us continue. Earth, Adama, nature, ecology. So we are now starting to talk about those relationships. So the first relationship, organisms complement each other to ensure life continuity. The earth, we are part of that. We are not separate from it. All right. Now let's talk a little about the Ubuntu awakening philosophy and where it comes from. Number one, we've spoken about the relationship with the earth. But really, the first relationship is with yourself. It starts with a truthful reflection of yourself, to unpack all your worldviews, the concepts that you hold, to ask yourself some serious questions about why you think the way that you do, why you behave the way that you do. But all of these things require honest reflection. It's so interesting. I was watching a conversation not too long ago. This male-female conversations that are going on. It's so interesting. And what struck me was that the women were saying, the man, it's because of the man that, our societies are a mess. And then, the brothers were saying, no, it's because of the women. The thing that struck me there was, no one is taking any accountability. You see, accountability comes with truthful self-reflection. That's where it starts. So the relationship with the self, oneness with yourself, it means you're not lying to yourself. You look at yourself and you're like, okay, here is the truth about me. Here are my flaws. Here are my strengths. Here's what I'm good at. Here's what I'm weak at. You see, we start there. We are really starting at a good place. The interesting thing also, see, this thing of wanting to blame everything and everyone except yourself. And you keep doing things that hurt you, but you don't think it's you. And you keep hurting yourself and blaming everything, but not helping you. I mean, it's like people asking, if there is a God, he's terrible. I mean, look at the world. And then you say, but what is the world? The world. Yo, it's just, when you sit and you look at things that people are saying, things that people are doing in the world, and you're like, The men are contributing to the degeneracy, the women are contributing to the degeneracy, the children, everyone. And then when they are done, they say, wow, we're living in such a mess after creating the mess. And then turn around and say, ah, it must be God's fault. Hey, folks, let's continue. But it's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, oneness with yourself, truthful, honest with yourself. You know the truth. Oh. People to people ecology, brotherhood, sisterhood, family. Hey, y'all, we gotta have that conversation about family, y'all. We gotta get that right, because remember we're going to be talking about the restoration village that I had touched on previously, that was brought forth by His Excellency Benami. The restoration village. What is that about? What is a village? A village is a collection of families, yo. So it's my family here, someone's family there, another person's family over there, then you have a village. But you see, that's not even the thing that makes the village. Because you can have families in close proximity to one another. Here, family there, but it, you see, you don't have a community. And without a community, you can't really say you have a village. So what makes community? Relationships. How do you relate with each other? How do you cooperate? To not only survive, but to thrive. Redefining this thing, it's not just some simple idea, oh, Ubuntu. No. We spoke about these things before. For you to establish harmony, so you need these levels of relationships. Remember, it's restoration, African restoration through relationships. You remember the theme we are talking about here? African restoration through relationships. Relationship with yourself, truthful reflection. People, you see, there are different ecologies, and this word ecology is important. What is an ecology? It is simply an environment that comprises of different components or elements that complement each other, that support each other. So there is the natural ecology in the natural world, but there is also ecology, you see? And then there is nature to people ecology. So that's the ecology we have with the natural environment. Adam, Adama. If you get that balance right, trust me, try that balance out and see what happens. Build your societies and your civilizations around these ideas and see what happens. Try, all these other things that you thought work, they don't seem to be working. Why not try this formula? This is the foundation for the village, which is the ultimate vision from an Ubuntu awakening perspective. Getting the vision, that village vision right. To speak about this elder here, again, a great inspiration for me, Israelite community. He is a master of agroecology. He speaks to this idea of a holistic approach to what we call agriculture. Agriculture is not just planting vegetables and fruits and all of that. You find the word culture there, agriculture. So it's agrarian culture. It's a way of life that is around, that is centered on these principles that I was sharing with you. All of that Everything I've been saying here, that's agriculture. All of those relationships, that harmonious existence, understanding those principles and applying, that's agriculture. So look into this elder, Prince Yadiel Ben Israel. He's renowned in the world for his knowledge and expertise on agroecology. You know. So I just want to show you, in conclusion, some of the, project that I mentioned. You remember I mentioned the African Hebrew Israeli community was established in Israel, and from there spread out. And so Ghana, South Africa, and other places in Africa. So this is an example of some of the projects that were being done, um, some of which continue in Ghana, you know, and they talk about health and wealth through sustainable agriculture. And the goal is to expand, self-sufficient system of sustainable organic agriculture, which will empower more young adults and current farmers to create financial freedom. Agriculture is the future, with the direction that the world is going. You better start learning how to grow your own food. Trust me. You see what's happening with the economy? Mm, you better start growing one or two vegetables for yourself. You better start having a little vegetable garden. And for those who have a passion for this, better start doing some larger scale type of agriculture. But yeah, you gotta get food production back in your hands. That's just the reality. It's unavoidable. It's no longer just a nice idea. It's a necessity. So yeah, these are some of the ideas, and environment and climate division. Uh, so what they're talking about here is smallholder farmers hold a massive collective store of experience and local knowledge that can provide the practical solutions needed to put agriculture on a more sustainable and equitable footing. To place smallholder at the forefront of a transformation in world agriculture, they need appropriate support to overcome the many challenges they face. One of the things we need to start doing is, wherever we live, we need to find out who are the people that do small scale farming and buy from them, support them. These are the practical things you can start doing. That in uplifting your communities, you have to start thinking differently about these things. And you can't just only think about food as in your large supermarkets and all of that. Find out who is doing some kind of agriculture, support them so that they keep doing what they're doing, and then we will slowly start to get um, food sovereignty again, start controlling food production again, bring it back to the community. So these are just some images uh, from these projects that were being done. And I show these things to show us and to sort of illustrate this idea that focusing on Africa, in particular, we are not going to solve our problems unless we are prepared to do the work. See, all of these talks, seminars, decoloniality symposiums, got it. You have to go in. You see this brother right here at the bottom right of the screen. This brother is working. And that's what needs to start happening if you are going to change anything. It's intellectual, hyper-intellectualism. I mean, scholarship is of course important, but knowledge is applied, folks. Knowledge is applied. You understand? And that's why I really don't take anyone too seriously who is just interested in telling us about the hundreds of books they have read. And then you ask them, so where's the product? And then they're like, tring, tring, tring. What the product at, man? Where is it? Oh, they tell you all these ideas about African values, African way of life. And you're like, that sounds great, man. I love especially the Kemetic brothers and sisters. Kemet is the true African way, And then I ask, so where's the Kemetic community? My art, way of life, I wanna see it in practice. Oh no, where is it? I go to see the product of what you're talking about. Just saying, man, work is going to take work, brothers and sisters. You can talk all day. You can make your mouth say anything. See, we've become so delusional, and a lot of this social justice rhetoric, so-called radical, far left, leftist. And that's why because we're so detached from reality, you listen to these people talking and you're like, boy, you know, you know, and then, for example, you hear someone saying they're radical and they're talking war, war talk. You see, in South Africa, we know nothing about war, especially our generation, particularly those of us who are maybe in our 30s and so on. We have no idea what war looks like. We've never been in war, never experienced war. But you find someone running their mouth, talking this war talk. They've never been in war, never experienced anything like that. Illusions. Then you talk about some utopia, that must. We're talking real things here. These are the real things that need to happen, you know. I don't like ideas that, the bridge between uh, perception and reality, it's almost like there is no bridge, I mean, you gotta show us the bridge between perception and reality, what you're talking about, and how it manifests. Otherwise, we are just nyaupering here. You know what I'm saying? That's some nyaupe stuff, bruh. Gotta show us the link from thought to reality. Something Benami used to say. From thought to reality. And more work. That's all I'm showing you here. More work. More beats. More work. That's all it is, brothers and sisters. It's gonna take work. Okay, let me conclude. I've been talking for too long now. Don't want this to become too long. But I really just wanted to emphasize these things, We need to come back into reality. Truth. And stop debating all these abstract ideas. Truth, life, and living. Ubuntu said, our ancestors never had, deep philosophies like the way we do, where we the concept in our heads, and it has nothing to do with our existence. Our ancestors lived Ubuntu more than anything. It didn't need to be, well, you didn't need to have academic papers on Ubuntu, all of that. It was lived more than anything. No one was trying to have debates about what it means. It was being lived. Restoration village, based on the African village concept, communal lifestyle. And you see, these things are not easy. These things are not easy. A communal lifestyle, a group of humans, bring them together to live together and share space, share resources, share the, not easy, and yet it is the solution. Real hard, man. But it's not impossible. Environment. It is the natural aspect to it and the social aspect. Like different levels of ecologies. But that kind of harmonious existence, and if you get it right, it enhances life and vitality, reconnects people with each other, and it will improve your health and wellness and well-being. We will bring down all of these stress levels. Hyper-industrial world. This world of social media, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, blah, 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 etc., etc., etc. We're overloaded with information, overloaded with radiation. So, and that's why a lot of us know, especially those of us who live in the cities here, when we are talking about where we, at the end of the year, it's December, boss, all of us want to go back to our villages to take a breather, to take a break, because our bodies, our minds, our spirits have taken a beating, we have taken a beating.